Hi everybody, Tim Bartz here in McArthur Ford, Salina, Kansas, your source for Ford news, update, and information, including your Maverick information on a Maverick Monday. And we are here on our lot today, and I want to kind of go over a couple things when it comes to battery management, battery longevity, and some things that we can maybe talk about. And this may be on one of those things where some people may not agree with what I say, some people might. And again, these are opinions of Tim Bartz. Happen to work at McArthur. So anyway, but we're going to talk about this a little bit and talk about some things with the hybrid as well as some things for the EcoBoost, and two different kind of situations in both of those. But let's talk about how they can affect the longevity of your battery, especially if you're a person out there that keeps your vehicle for a long time. Now, make sure you're subscribed with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of our videos. And let's get into this. Now I do have I have a bunch of Mavericks here actually, including some down there with the Orange Fury, which makes me think that's coming out soon on the Bronco. But we're talking Maverick here today, and I have right here this XL Maverick. This is a hybrid right here that we're looking at, and right behind it is an EcoBoost Lariat as well. And we're going to talk about a couple of different things that have to do with these vehicles. And first off, let's talk about that deep sleep. Some of you have been getting that. Now, whether it be a hybrid or an EcoBoost, you might be getting that kind of thing happening to your vehicle, regardless of whether you have hybrid or EcoBoost. Now, with a hybrid, we've seen actually less of these issues since they updated the battery for the newer Mavericks. So if you have like a 22, 23, maybe even early 24 Maverick, you maybe had some issues with your vehicle going to deep sleep and not being able to use your remote start features or some things like that. And some people have even gone to the tactics of putting a trickle charger on their hybrid. Now let me kind of show you what they've kind of done recently is they've actually put a better battery in these vehicles. In fact, this is a 26, and I know it's upside down, but right over here you can see that this does say AGM. So if it has one of those AGM 12-volt batteries, which you're going to find located under your passenger seat right there, then that battery there is the better battery that you're going to want. And some of those early ones were like I think an EFB or something. They were putting those cheaper batteries in the vehicles and having issues. And finally, after years actually, they came out with a recall to fix a lot of people and get them new batteries. Some people maybe didn't. Some people went ahead and purchased a new battery themselves because that was having issues with that. Now, something else you can do, and something even if you have the newer AGM, you're saying, Tim, I still have issues with deep sleep. Let me tell you why you might be having those problems. So one of the things that the technology in the hybrid and the purpose behind it is to kind of conserve on fuel economy, right? Not having that engine, that gas engine, integrate and turn on, right, to go as much as you can using the hybrid motor and the hybrid batteries as long as you can. Now, if you're somebody that's really efficient at that and does a really good job of that, and you commute and you don't get up on the highway and that engine doesn't get turned on, then you might be having these same issues. You might go into deep sleep a little bit more than most other people, and that is because you're not kicking on that engine. So the gas engine is what's actually powering that battery. So that 12-volt battery needs to be charged up every so often, right? It needs that happening, and the way that gets charged up is the engine. The engine is what helps charge it. It needs that, so that needs to kick on. So we had a lot of early people, especially if you're one that, hey, it's not really your fault of where you're driving, where you're going, but it's just the nature of the beast when you drive a hybrid. We have this happen a lot on our hybrids that are sitting on our lot for long periods of time. Sometimes they have to be jumped because there are still some electronics in there that it's using, and then the engine isn't if you don't get that engine turned on to power it, you have that issue. Now, I want to tell you this too. This can also happen on an EcoBoost, because I have a Bronco, and I have my Bronco go into deep sleep or battery saver mode all the time at home. So there's times where I can't remote start my vehicle using the app or a scheduled remote start using the app. I actually have to use my remote on the vehicle. Luckily, I have remote start on my Bronco, but I actually have it happen on my Bronco. And the reason it happens on my Bronco, even though it hasn't happened since I upgraded my battery, but that first battery that Ford gives you, it's on the cheaper side. It's not one of the best batteries. And so I had a lot of issues with their battery, but also I have a lot of accessories on my Bronco. Even though I have an EcoBoost motor, still have a lot of accessories, and it kind of wears down that battery, and especially if I don't start the vehicle up and run it on a day. Sometimes like on a Sunday, then Monday, it won't remote start, so or won't be able to do that. It'll go in the sleeper battery saver mode. So there you go. I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about the auto start stop. So this is a subject. Now, Maverick Hybrid does not have auto start stop on those. They don't really need it. They intend, that's the purpose of them. And the reason this isn't as much of an issue with a hybrid is because of the technology between the hybrid motor and your engine, and how it works, and you have that extra battery in it, so you don't have as much of that issue on a hybrid because of that technology. And I won't go into all that technology, but EcoBoost will have an auto start stop, and I'm gonna get into this one right here. And we actually, I think, talked about, you know, the parking brake not too long ago, but right here you have an auto start stop, and I'm gonna actually turn this on. I'm gonna move this up just a little bit. But you have an auto start stop, and some of you, it's not a bad idea when you first start your vehicle up, if you don't like this shutting the vehicle off all the time, is to just press that button and it turns it off. Now, let me turn this fan speed down. There we go. Now, one of the things you're going to notice if you don't do that is that you come up to stoplight, stop sign, and you press that brake, then it's going to shut the vehicle off. And in fact, I'm going to put it in drive right now and see if it does it for us while we're just sitting here. But if you have it in park, it won't do that. But if you're in drive and you're at a stoplight, stop sign, you press that brake, and it doesn't need any other power in the vehicle. Like right now, maybe it's using the climate. I tried shutting it off completely so that maybe that would integrate it. But what'll happen is it'll shut that vehicle off, and then while you're at that stop, and then when you let go of the brake, it's going to turn it back on. It works pretty well. And so let me actually talk a little bit about why Ford has that. So Ford has a lot of manufacturers actually have auto start stop, and for years, you know, a lot of manufacturers have been telling people it's going to save you on fuel, or maybe it's good for the emissions, right? Less emissions at those stoplights and stop signs, right, and help out our economy and everything. But what it really has to do with is the fact that Ford got credits from EPA if they included auto start stop in their vehicles. Well, recently, we talked about this in our live stream a couple weeks ago, is the EPA is doing away with those credits. So we'll see if we can continue to have auto start stop in our vehicles. Now, a lot of people don't like the auto start stop because one, it's irritating. They don't like it shutting off and then having to turn back on. Now, a couple things you can do. Again, hit the deactivation button. On the Maverick, it's great because it's right there, easy to get to. Some vehicles, it's on the dash, but you can do that at the very beginning before you even put it in the drive, and it will never shut off for you during that engine cycle. You have to do it every time if you turn the vehicle off, get out, get back in, turn it back on, you'll have to do it again. So it does it for every engine cycle. There's no way to disable it without buying some aftermarket things. Which actually I have one coming in for my Bronco, and we're going to test it out, see how easy it is to install and such. But there are some out there you can purchase, and you can plug into your vehicle and deactivate it permanently. In a sense, it's basically tricking the system that you've pressed the button when you really haven't. So that is something. Also, you can do, I've learned that if you turn your steering wheel, if it shuts it off, what it's doing is it's shutting the engine off. Well, the engine needs to be on to power it. We talked about battery management, right? So if you try to turn your steering wheel, then it'll turn it back on. That typically happens. Also, if you let go of your brake just a little bit, not completely, but just kind of let up on it a little bit, so you're not moving forward, but you're not fully engaged in the brake, it will also turn it back on because it thinks you're about ready to go pull away from that stop. So that's some things you can do. Now, some things you can do as well is your different drive modes will take it out or will disable it as well. And one of those drive modes is a sport mode. We're going to actually talk about drive modes probably next week. But one of the things you don't want to do is don't do that just to deactivate the auto start stop, because that can be bad on your vehicle as well. So there you go. And I will encourage people to, do engage, do disable that auto start stop. Because there are some people that are saying out there that auto start stop is not bad for your vehicle. that it'll be just fine. We haven't had seen any issues being claimed under warranty and such, but at some point it will, because that is, there's two things that are going on there. One of them is your battery. So it is disabling your battery. It's every time you turn it on and off, it's, you know, starting that charge to your battery. So it does affect your battery as well as your starter over time. Now, how long will that be? Who's to tell? Will you have the vehicle still? Maybe not. Will you be out of warranty? Yeah, you probably will. By the time it happens, it's not going to happen under warranty. It's not going to, it's going to, at some point, it is going to be bad on your starter and the longevity of your starter and your battery, but it may be after you're already out of warranty. And so you'll say, well, you know, it lasted for 4 years. You're right, but you could have lasted 5 or 6 years if you didn't have the auto start stop, engaged and enabled the whole time. Probably. So over time and longevity, I will say you probably are, you know, putting some wear onto your battery and to your starter, both of those, with that auto start up. So I do encourage most people to disable it if you can. So that's just something I'm putting out there. And you know, if you're somebody that buys a vehicle every couple of years before it runs out of warranty, you don't need to worry. So disregard what I'm saying. But if you're somebody that's going to keep yours for a long period of time, then you might think about that. That might be something to think about. So anyway, that's what I have for this week. Let me know what your guys' comments are. There's a lot of, you know, discussion on this. Hopefully nobody took any of what I said as a negativity or anything, but you know, drop those comments down below, you know. And if I'm saying something that's incorrect, please correct me, because yeah, you guys do it, and I need to be corrected. If I said something wrong that, or something offended you or something, put it down below. And that is not my intent at all. All right, hopefully this did help you out. There's some great Mavericks, again, sales going on, truck month going on through March. Hope you guys have a opportunity to do that. If you're looking to get upgraded to a new Maverick, maybe you have one of those 22, 23s and they never replaced your battery. Maybe it's time to get a 25 or a 26 Maverick, get the better battery. Buying a battery is probably cheaper than buying a new Maverick, but there you go. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day and have a fabulous Maverick Monday. Till the next video, stay positive, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.